Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Casual Commander. Unfortunately, Tifa will not be joining us today. We had a disagreement over the size of tacos that she was allowed to eat. I get the regular size for me, and then I go to like Costco and I get the small ones. You know, they're really small. Like they're small and they're neat. And I get those ones for her, but she wants the big ones, and so we're kind of fighting about that at the moment. Because the bigger ones are more expensive. I don't know what to do about it. Anyway, today, elementals. And we are going to be doing a 5-color elemental. I haven't seen a 5-color elemental quite yet. I've heard about people that have the decks out there, but I've only ever seen like the 3-mana one with the Maelstrom that does Cascade. But I'm like, let's do 5-mana because that sounds awesome. So we got Omnath, Locus of All. White, blue, black, but it's Phyrexian black, which means you can pay black or 2 life, red and green. So, if you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. So, at the end of the turn, if you got this out, right, and at the end of the turn, you got unspent mana, right, you put a little marker, like a counter, like a die or something, on it and keep track of how much mana that has, because then you get to use that mana to spend stuff later, which is great. It's a way to just rack up a bunch of mana. So remember that. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, so the first main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols in its mana cost. So 3 or more colors up here. If you do, add 3 mana in any combination of its colors and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, put it into your hand. It's a 4/4. All right. On to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Forgotten Ancient, 3 and a green. Whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Forgotten Agent. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of +1/+1 counters from a Forgotten Ancient on to other creatures. Rakdos Charm, black and a red. You choose one of these. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Destroy target artifact. Each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. That's a great one for people that decide to go wide. You just ping them to death. Mana Drain, 2 blue. Counter target spell at the beginning of your next main phase. Add an amount of colorless equal to that spell's mana value. So if they want to counter something that you can counter it. Or if they're casting something really big, right, like a 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, you cast this, you get that much mana. So if it's a 7 mana spell, you get 7 colorless that you can use to cast other stuff. It's great. Voice of Resurgence, a green and a white. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, or when Voice of Resurgence dies, create a green and white elemental creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. It's a 2/2. Sculpting Steel, 3 mana. You may have Sculpting Skill enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact on the battlefield. So if you need extra mana, bam, that's a way to do it. Repulse, 2 and a blue. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. Hate Flayer, 5 and 2 red. Wither. This deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. 2 and a red. When it untaps, because that symbol's backwards, so when it untaps, tap it, untap. When it untaps, deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player. It is a 5/5. So you swing with it, you attack, it deals -5/-5 if they block it, or it just does 5 damage to players. And then on your upkeep, when you untap it, you pick a creature and hit it with 5 -1/-1 counters, which is a good way to wipe stuff out or weaken dramatically big stuff. A mountain. There's an equipment card in here that would go well with that. I think it's called Viridian Longbow, and I'm pretty sure I have it in this deck. If not, I should. Anyway, Restless Spire. Enters the battlefield tapped, add a blue or a red, or you can pay a blue and a red Until end of turn, it becomes a 2/1 blue and red elemental creature. As long as it's your turn, this creature has first strike. It is still a land, and whenever it attacks, you scry one. Royal Elemental, 3 and 3 blue. Flying. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain control of target creature for as long as you control Royal Elemental. 3/2. Yasharn, Implacable Earth, 2 and a green and a white. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic forest and a basic plains card. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. It's a 4/4. Malignus, 3 and 2 red. Malignus's power and toughness are each equal to half the highest life total among your opponents rounded up. Damage that would be dealt by Malignus can't be prevented. So this is a great way to get around something like Teferi's Protection, where it says your life total can't change, or something like there was one or two others, I can't remember, but there are a couple cards out there that say, you know, your life total can't change, or you can't be, you're immune to creatures or whatever. This would override that, and whatever damage would actually go through instead not. So that's a good one. Gilded Lotus, 5 mana, add 3 mana of one color when you tap it. Wondrous Crucible, 7 mana. Permanents you control have Ward 2. At the beginning of your end step, mill 2 cards. Then exile a non-land card at random from your graveyard. Copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Skycat Sovereign, white and a blue, it's flying. It gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying. Or you pay 2, a blue and a white to create a 1/1 white catbird creature token with flying. It is a 1/1. Rhystic Study, 2 and a blue. Whenever opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1 mana. I think this is on the Game Changer list, so be wary. Momentary Blink, 1 and a white. Exile target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. And then it has a flashback cost, so if it's in the graveyard, you can cast it for 3 and a blue to do that effect again, and then exile it. Somber Walled Sage, 3 and a green. 2 and a green, sorry, 2 and a green. Add 3 mana of any one color. Spend this only to cast creature spells. It is a 0/1. Reincarnation, 1 and 2 green. Choose target creature. When that creature dies this turn, return a creature card from its owner's graveyard to the battlefield under the control of that creature's owner. Myriad Landscape enters tapped. Tap it to add a mana, or you can pay 2 and tap it to sack it. Search for 2 basic land cards that share a land type, so 2 blue, 2 forests, 2 mountains, 2 islands. Then put them onto battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Sword of Truth and Justice, 3 mana. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from white and from blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control, then proliferate. 2 mana to equip. Take a quick sip. Good stuff. Bolt Bend, 3 mana and a red. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. So if someone's going to path to exile, that's what I was thinking of. Path of Exile. You Path of Exile something, and then that person searches for land. I was thinking about that. I forgot the name of it. So if someone does that to a creature and you go, no, I'm going to pay this, and then you can pick another target. It's great. It's wonderful. Bane of Progress, 4 and 2 green. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Put a +1/+1 counter on Bane of Progress for each permanent destroyed this way. It is a 2/2. Island. Deathrite Shaman, a black or a green. You can tap it to exile target land from a graveyard. Add 1 mana of any color. Black and tap it. Exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. Green and tap it. Exile target creature from a graveyard. You gain 2 life. 1 and a 2 for power and toughness. Worldly Tutor, a green. Search your library for a creature card and reveal that card. Shuffle your library, then put that card on top of it. I think all of the tutors are game changers, so keep that in mind. Shadow in the Warp, 1 red and green. The first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, Shadow in the Warp deals 2 damage to that player. Swamp. Croesus Charm, blue, black, red. Choose 1. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. Destroy target artifact. Gruul Turf. Enters tapped. When it enters, return a land you control to your hand. And then it taps for a red and a green. Swiftfoot Boots, 2 mana. Equip creature has hexproof and haste. Equip 1. Hexproof can't be targeted by spells or abilities your opponents control. Darksteel Plate, 3 mana. Indestructible. Equip creature has indestructible. Equip cost 2. Omnath, Locus of Creation, 4 mana. Red, green, white, and blue. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 4 life. If this is the first time this ability has resolved this turn. The second time, you add red, green, white, and blue. If it's the third time, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. It is a 4/4. Selvala's Stampede, 4 and 2 green. Starting with you, each player votes for wild or free. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card for each wild vote. Put those creature cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest into your library. You may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield for each free vote. Sword of Feast and Famine, 3 mana. Equip creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from black and from green. Equip creature deals combat damage to a player. That player discards a card and you untap all lands you control. 2 mana. Swan Song, 1 blue. Counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. Titan of Industry, 4 and 3 green. It has reach and trample. When it enters, you choose 2. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Target player gains 5 life. Create a 4/4 green Rhino Warrior creature token. Put a shield counter on a creature you control. Shield counter basically absorbs any damage it might take. You remove that counter instead, and then the next time the creature will actually take damage. It is a 7/7. Nature's Will, 2 and 2 green. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, tap all lands that player controls and untap all lands you control. Yarok the Desecrated, 2, a black, green, and a blue. It has Death Touch and Lifelink. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. It is a 3/5. I don't know how many ETBs I have. I got a couple, but I also got it for the Death Touch Lifelink. Good stuff. Botanical Brawler, a green and a white. It has Trample. Botanical Brawler enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on another permanent you control, if it's the first time a +1/+1 counter has been put on that permanent this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Botanical Brawler. Lord of Extinction, 3, a green and a black. Lord of Extinction's power and toughness are each equal to all number of cards in all graveyards. Good stuff. Horde of Notions, white, blue, black, red, and green. Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. And then you can pay 1 of each color. You may play target elemental card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. 5 mana. Speaking of which, Timeless Lotus, 5 mana. Enters the battlefield, tap it and add it for 1 of each color. Find and finality. Find, black or green, black or green. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Or finality. For a black and a green, you may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. Then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. Cultivate, it's a shiny one. 2 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put 1 onto the battlefield tapped, and the other into your hand, then shuffle your library. Forest. Soul Ring, 1 mana, tap for 2, colorless. Monologue Tax, 2 and a white. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you create a treasure token. Endurance, 1 and 2 green. Flash means cast at any time. Reach, you can get the flyers. When it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player puts all cards from their graveyard on the bottom of their library in a random order. Or you can evoke it, exile a green card from your hand. So you pay that cost instead of the mana cost, if I remember that correctly. Mountain. Chromatic Lantern, 3 mana. Lands you control have tap to add 1 mana of any color, and then this itself taps to add 1 mana of any color. Wrath of God, 2 and 2 white. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. Reflecting Pool. Add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. Golgari Rot Farm. Enters tapped. Does the same thing as the Gruul, so except it is black and green. Titania, Voice of Gaia, 1 and 2 green. Reach. Whenever 1 or more lands, 1 or more land cards or lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere, you gain 2 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 4 or more land cards in your graveyard, and you both own and control Titania, Voice of Gaia, and a land named Argoth, Sanctum of Nature, exile them, then meld them into Titania, Gaia Incarnate. 3/4. We'll put this over here, and then when the other one comes out, we'll take a look at what they look like flipped. Pemin's Aura, 1 and 2 blue. Blue, untap enchanted creature. Blue, enchanted creature gains flying until end of turn. Blue, enchanted creature gains shroud until end of turn. It can't be the target of spells or abilities. That is including you, not just opponents. Or any colored mana. Enchanted creature gets +1/-1 or -1/+1 until end of turn. Fierce Guardianship, 2 and a blue. If you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Counter target non-creature spell. Swamp. Animar, Soul of Elements. Blue, red, green. Protection from white and black. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Animar. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each +1/+1 counter on Animar. It is a 1/1. Anguished Unmaking, 1 white and a black. Exile target non-land permanent. You lose 3 life. Maelstrom Wanderer, 5 mana, green, blue, red. Creatures you control have haste. Cascade. So Cascade is you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land that costs less. So this is 8, so that means 7 or lower. Put the exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order, then do it again. So you do that twice. It's a 7/5. Cascade costs less. Yeah. Dimir Aqueduct does the same thing as Golgari Rot Farm, except a blue and a red. Soul Kanar the Tainted, 2 blue, black, red. At the beginning of your end step, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Draw a card. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Soul Kanar the Tainted deals 3 damage to up to 1 other target creature or planeswalker. Exile Solnar, then return it to the battlefield under opponent's control. It is a 5/5. This is a good one to get out there, and then if you have one of the return to your hands, bam, problem solved. Do it again. Green Sun Zenith, X and a green. Search your library for a green creature card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Shuffle green Sun Zenith into its owner's library. So you pay 1 and then however many mana, and then whatever that X cost of mana is. So I pay a green and then 5 mana. I can then look for a 5 mana cost green creature or less, and then put it onto the battlefield. Tectonic Giant, 2 and 2 red. Whenever Tectonic Giant attacks or becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, you choose one. It deals 3 damage to each opponent, or exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. It's a 3/4. Path of Ancestry enters tapped. Add a mana of any color equal to the commander's identity. And then when that mana is spent to cast a creature, shares a creature type with it, scry 1. Risen Reef, 1, a green and a blue. When Risen Reef or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it is a land card, you may put it into the battlefield tapped. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. It is a 1/1. Tooth and Nail, 5 and 2 green. Choose 1. Search your library for up to 2 creature cards. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Put 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Or it's Entwine, 2 mana. Choose both if you pay the Entwine cost. So 7 to get one of them, 9 to get both of them. Look for 2 things and then put them out there. It's pretty good. Blind Obedience, 1 and a white. It has Extort, which means whenever you cast a spell, you can pay a white or a black. If you do, each opponent loses life and you gain that much life. Artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Forest. We have another Omnath here. Locust of the Royal. 1 green, blue, red. When it enters the battlefield, if it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, you draw a card. It is a 3/3. Reliquary Tower. You have no max hand size, taps for colorless. Here we go. Argoth, Sanctum of Nature. When it enters the battlefield, it enters the battlefield tapped, unless you control a legendary green creature. You can tap it for a green. You can pay 2 and 2 green to create a 2/2 green bear creature token. Then you mill 3 cards. Activate only as a sorcery. It melds with Voice of Gaia. So let's go ahead and pop these 2 suckers out and see what we got. So, oh no. What happened to my real one? Oh, I got the real one in another deck, don't I? Okay. Well, this is a proxy. The creature art is gone, unfortunately. So we just have this bottom part. Let's read what it does. Vigilance, Reach, Trample, Haste. Titania, Gaia's incarnate's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. When it enters the battlefield, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. 3 and a green to put 4 +1/+1 counters on target land you control. It becomes a 0/0 elemental creature token with haste. It's still a land. So this is a great one, especially in a specific land deck, which this is not. This is an elemental tribal, but still a good one to have. Feel free to go get yourself the real copy, which would probably have either, the split on both or one on either side. I'm not sure. But I can't remember which deck has my real one. What I usually do is I'll usually buy the real card, and then anytime I'm looking to get, more copies of it, I'll proxy the copies, especially the really expensive ones, right? So you buy like a $50 Morophon, and you're like, I've got the Morophon one. I supported the game. I'm not going to spend $50 again to have another one, so I'm just going to proxy it for 50 cents or whatever. So that's just me. I don't have a lot of money, so you have to try and do what you can. And things are only getting more and more expensive. I mean, just take a look at the Final Fantasy sets that are coming out. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Grumgully the Generous. 1, a red and a green. Each other non-human creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. 3/3. Island. Is it Boiler Works? Works the same as Dimir Aqueduct, no problems. Forest. Make room. The mat is working too well. Okay. Bloom Tender, 1 and a green. Tap for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of color to your mana pool. It's a 1/1. So if you got your Horde of Notions out here, you can tap this for 5 mana, 1 of each color. It's awesome. Cavern of Souls, when it enters, choose a creature type, tap for a colorless, or you can tap to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, and that spell can't be countered. Wilderness Elemental, 1 red and a green. Trample. Its power is equal to the number of non-basic lands your opponents control. So non-basic lands are things like the Dimir Aqueduct and these Boiler Works. It'll just say land on it. Your basic lands are going to be like just your straight up island, forest, etc. And it's a star 3. So they have 10 non-basics. It's a 10/3. Nomad Outpost enters tapped. Add red, white, or black. Hull Breach, red and a green. This is a great one. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, destroy target artifact, and target enchantment. Celestial Colonnade enters tapped. Taps for a white or a blue. You pay 3, a white and a blue. Until end of turn, it becomes a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature token. Elemental creature with flying and vigilance. It's still a land. Island. Cavalier of Gales, 2 and 3 blue, flying. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards. Then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. When it dies, shuffle it into its owner's library, then scry 2. It's a 5/5. Sword to Plowshares, 1 white. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Nyxbloom Ancient, 4 and 3 green. Trample. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much of that mana instead. It's a 5/5. So if I tap this island for 1 mana, this will make me tap it for 3 mana instead. It's beautiful. Hadana's Climb, 1 a green and a blue. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then if that creature has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, transform Hadana's Climb into Winged Temple of Orazka. Add 1 mana of any color, where you pay 1 green and a blue, and tap it, and target creature you control gains flying and gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is its power. So this is a 3 power creature. I do this, it gets +3/+3, where its power is 3. So then it becomes a 6/7. Plains. Defense of the Heart, 3 and a green. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls 3 or more creatures, sacrifice Defense of the Heart, search your library for up to 2 creature cards, and put those cards onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. Arcane Signet, 2 mana. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's identity. Selesnya Sanctuary, same as the Aqueduct, except white and green. Plains. Solitude, 3 and 2 white. Flash, cast anytime. Lifelink. When Solitude enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 other target creature. That creature's controller gains life equal to its power. Or you can evoke it, exile a white card from your hand. 3 and a 2. Opulent Palace enters tapped. You can tap it to add a black, a green, or a blue to your mana. The World Tree enters tapped. You tap it for a green. As long as you control 6 or more lands you control have, add 1 mana of any color. Then you can pay 2 of each color, tap it and sacrifice it to search your library for any number of god cards and put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. I don't have any of those aspects to it. It's mostly for the Chromatic Lantern effect. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Plains. And Wings of Aesir. Aesir. However you want to pronounce that. White and blue. Target creature gains flying and first strike and gets +1/+0. It's an enchantment. Enchant aura. So there you have it. This is an elemental deck. Elemental tribal. You got enough. You don't have like a ton of the 3 mana things. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8's okay. I mean, you should have more if you're going for that main effect, but because it's more elementals rather than that main effect, I mean, it still works. But the, getting the black mana, having the 5 color, get all the 5 colors. Again, it's casual. It's not super optimized. It's just, you got, some fun effect. Oh, I want to do elementals and all 5 colors. Here you go. So hope you liked it. Hope it makes sense. If you found any tweaks here and there, it'd be a good one. I just realized that I don't have the Viridian Bow in this deck for the Hate Flare, because you can get 2 effects off of that, right? So with the Hate Flare, you bring it out, you equip the bow to it, right? And then you won't be able to do it that first turn until, you get Swiftfoot Boots on it. But then you would, at the end of the person's turn before you tap it, have the Viridian do a -1 counter on it, and then on your upkeep, you untap it and you deal 5. So you can launch 6 damage onto something, and then on your turn, tap it again for 7. So if it's a big creature, you can pop it up almost immediately at the end turn and main phase of your thing. So it's a good way to do it. I need to get the Viridian Bow in here. So I'll look at messing around with something to fix that. Well, since I got you here, let's think about it. What would we get rid of to put in a Viridian Bow? Well, first let's see if there's anything else it would work with. It would work with... No. It would work with Yurok, because Yurok has Death Touch. So that's a good one, because then you could, pop it for 1 and then kill it. Oh, come on. There we go. No. Maybe I didn't want to put it in here because it wouldn't... Yeah. That might have been it. I don't think I put it in here because I only had 1 or 2 creatures that it would actually benefit from. Because the Death Touch or the Wither would be great. So I think that's why it's not in here. Never mind. Well, if you do end up tweaking this with some other creatures or elementals that do have Death Touch or Wither or anything like that, then put that in there. Then it'd be great. It'd be fantastic to do that type of thing. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Thanks for joining me. Catch you guys later.